we're ready for another Book Society box from Woolberry Fiber Co. Hello, my name is Emily Crow from Crochet Creations and welcome to the Cozy Crow. Today I'm so excited. We're going to start this video. I did a vlog in December where I shared Woolberry Fiber Co.'s Book Society box, my experience opening the box, trying out all the goodies, reading the book, opening the yarn, starting a project, all of that. And I now have the spring box in my possession. It finally came. It got lost in the mail for a few weeks, but it is here. I'm so excited to open it. Today we are just opening it up, taking a look at the goodies, and then I'm going to take a nap because I'm working tonight. I am a nurse and tonight I am on night shift. So gotta take a nap to get ready to work tonight, but I could not let this wait until another day. I needed to open this today. Let's take a look. I'm so excited. It is currently like March 13th. Yeah, March 13th. It was supposed to come at the end of February. First package got lost in the mail, so I reached out to Woolberry Fiber Co. and they sent me a second one. This is the second package. Who knows what happened to that first one? We may never know. It may be lost in the abyss, but we have the package now. I'm so excited to see what's inside. I don't have real scissors, so I'm using these. Oh, cute paper. I don't know how well you can see that. Yeah, so excited. Okay. Oh, so what all is in here? I'm so excited. Tea with Thai, a rooibos chai. Our South African rooibos meets a delectable assortment of chai spices. I had reached out to Woolberry Fiber Co. when they had said there was tea in their box, asking if I could get one that was an herbal that didn't have caffeine, and they delivered even on the second box, which I'm so grateful for. So I can actually enjoy that. I do like me a rooibos chai. We gotta like disassemble this before I can show a lot more. We've got some rooibos chai from Tea with Tay. This beautiful mug. Oh my goodness. Oh, stunning. Like, oh, this shape is super fun too. I love it. From, let's see, Danica Jubilee. Dishwasher and microwave safe, 18 ounce, nice and big mug. I love that. There's this little packet. Let's see what's inside. Ooh. Oh, ow. Almost lost it. Oh, fun. A couple stitch stoppers with like a little sun motif. This like little minty green, sagey green. Oh, and this cute pen. Aw. Tea. Cute. Oh my goodness. So we've got a theme going on for sure. And then the book. So excited. Let's see what book came. The book is a mystery, unlike another book box that I've done recently. So that's really fun. Hopefully it's not a book I already own or have already read. Or else I'll just have to unhaul it. Ooh, I do not have this book. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. This should be super fun. Okay, and then the last thing that I didn't unwrap yet because they are going to be opened throughout the book are 4 skeins of yarn that are specifically dyed for this box. If you haven't watched my other videos for book boxes, but on each skein of yarn, there's a sticker that shares the page number that you read to. Once you get to that page number, then you open this package. The yarn will coordinate with what's going on in the book at the time. I love doing this for the winter box, and even though I did not like the book that we did, it was still such a fun experience to do the box. So I'm really glad I'm doing the subscription. So let's see, we've got page 101, page 184, page 229, and page 353. So I need to read 101 pages before I open any of this yarn, which is a while, but that means I should probably get started. I found this cute bookmark inside, and I also found out page 353 does not exist. That's the last page of the book, 333. So I'm going to check out the Discord. There is a Discord for this book box. And I'm going to see if anyone has like an errata, a correction. Maybe it's just the last page of the book. Who knows? I'm going to find out though. All right, so it's a couple days later and I'm finally ready to start reading this book. I finished the book that I was reading. I like to have an audiobook, an ebook, and a physical book and not a lot else besides that. I mean, I might have a couple things that are like long-standing, but I finished the most recent novel that I was reading as a physical book. So now I'm ready to start Vera Wong's. I'm really excited to read this. I need something a little different right now. I've been reading a lot of horror. I've read a couple romances recently. So I think it'll be fun to read like a comedic murder mystery is my impression of this. I really don't know a lot about this. I've heard that it is a good fit for people who like Finlay Donovan, which I enjoyed. It wasn't my favorite, but I still enjoyed it. So we'll see how I like this. My first skein of yarn isn't until like page 100, so I've got a ways to go. So I'm going to start reading tonight before bed, and I will check back in with you when I'm ready to open the first package. This book is really funny. I just got like a little introduction on the first page on who Vera Wong Juju is. Excuse me for my pronunciation. This is gonna be a funny book, I think. We'll see how I like Vera. But I can totally picture her. Like I've definitely seen older ladies like on their 6 a.m. walks at the park in California who look exactly like this. And I'm sure live parallel lives, at least up until now. So I can definitely picture who she is from this introduction. I'm excited to get to know her better and see how I like her. Okay, super funny. So I just found out this takes place in Chinatown in San Francisco, and the elderly Asian grandma that goes on a 6 a.m. walk, like in my memory, is from when I lived in the Bay Area. So it checks out. She was one of those ladies that I would see in the mornings when I would go on my walk with my daughter when she was really little. So that just kind of made my heart a little warm. One chapter down. All right, I'm enjoying the outdoors. It is like 53 degrees out, so surprisingly, I need a blanket because it's not quite warm enough, but the sun is not shining on me, so I think that's kind of why. But I wanted to sit outside on our little balcony. I've got snacks, I've got my book, and I'm ready to read. Okay, I moved back inside to read because I'm a wuss, and it was just a little bit too cold for me to be like really comfortable outside. We didn't get any sun. It was a shady spot and it was a little windy, and so maybe I'll go outside a little bit later when it's going to be in the 60s. I'm so excited. But for now, I moved back inside to read, and I got to page 100, and it was just really sweet. This book is making me feel a lot of things. It's interesting. There's a big cast of characters. I did not expect that. There's a lot of suspects, according to Vera, and it's just interesting to hear about how Marshall impacted the lives of these people. We're getting little glimpses here and there, but makes me not so sad that he died or was murdered. But let's see what page 100 is for our skein of yarn. Oh, page 101, excuse me, which is the end of the chapter. So I finished the chapter. Let's take a look. Ooh. Flutter wings. I like how they labeled the page number on there. This is so pretty. Oh my goodness. It's like a warm creamy base with peach and pink and some like green and blue in there. This is a beautiful variegated color. I don't know how much farther I'm going to get today in reading, but already on page 101, I've got about 220 pages left to go in this book. So I've got a good chunk done already. The next yarn I open is on page, I think, 184 maybe. so I've got a ways to go. Don't know if I'll get there today. We'll see. But I think I'm gonna read a little bit longer because I'm enjoying myself. We'll see how far I get today. Okay, this book is going by really fast. I'm already on like page 140. So I think I'm just going to keep going until the next skein of yarn. I have about a half an hour before I want to move on to do the next thing on my to-do list. So I'm going to see if I can pound through 45 pages and then I'll show you the next skein of yarn. The plot is thickening as things are being alluded to from all these suspects, but we're not getting a lot of clear answers. So I'm excited to see what all actually happened, because right now they think that the murdered guy, Marshall is his name, they think that Marshall died accidentally, not from murder. But it just doesn't quite sit well with them. So we're doing some more investigating and seeing what comes up. Great tea always has that effect. Hello, hello. It is another day and I am about to take a nap. I am working tonight. I tried to stay up late last night. Maybe I didn't stay up late enough. We'll see. I'm not very tired right now. So I'm going to read a few chapters of my book. Got my reading to do before I go to sleep, and hopefully that'll kind of calm my brain down, let my body relax so I can take a good nap in preparation for working tonight. I've only got like 35 more pages until the next package to open, so I honestly might open it now. So I think I might go grab the skein of yarn, so if I read far enough I can open it before I take my nap, because I really don't feel tired. So usually in preparation for like actual bedtime, I read maybe a chapter of my story and then that's enough to put me to sleep. But right now, not feeling it. So I might read a little bit more and might get to the next skein of yarn for this book. No! Ah! Okay. Here. Stay. Another day, and today I'm hoping to finish Vera Wong's. I am on currently page 264, so that leaves me with 70 pages to go, so not too much to read, maybe like an hour or so of reading. So I'm going to get cozy and read some of this while I try out this rooibos tea that came in my box. It's really hot right now, so I'm gonna leave it for a few minutes, but I'm gonna get all snuggly and cozy and just enjoy a lazy morning of reading. I also realized I haven't really talked a ton about this book and what it's been like. I feel like the last Woolberry book box, I had a lot more feelings because there were a lot of like twists and turns and things that like made me angry and whatnot. This book has been enjoyable. It is a fast read. There's not as much of a mystery. There's a mystery, but it's not like we're picking up clues or anything like that. Just some things that are under wraps are being brought to light about some of these characters in this cast. These characters all feel like slightly like a band of misfits that are coming close together and becoming closer and closer friends, which is like a really fun dynamic. And also seeing people whose maybe self-esteem was lower, how they kind of heal personally and how their true self comes out and how their relationships with one another heal themselves. It's really sweet in that sense. So there's like a big part of the story that involves moments like that are just like really heartwarming and wholesome, and then other parts of the story that are just kind of funny and plucky. Vera gets what she wants, and it's just funny to hear about. Though she's not necessarily like a favorite character of mine, like I don't necessarily connect with a character like that very much, but it's funny, it's fun to read about. I'm interested to see, was there actually a murder? Who did it? I have a guess, but we'll see when it becomes revealed. Police, they don't have someone in custody, but they have a strong suspect, and I think it's a red herring. I think it's somebody else still, but we shall see. I've got like 40 pages left, 35 pages, so we're getting close to the end. Vera, Things are getting dramatic now. We have like 25 pages left, 30 pages. Evidence is gone. These have been a crazy few pages. Okay, I'm pretty sure I was right, but we got a good reveal related to who the murderer is. All right, so let's talk about this book, Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. First of all, this title isn't really related. She doesn't really give advice to murderers, but it is a catchy title. I did really like this book. I rated it a 4-star. This is not my kind of mystery story. I'm also not a super fan of Finlay Donovan, books like that. The main characters with this like forced incompetence or like silliness, I don't really relate to. So even though Vera was a really funny character and she was a hoot, I didn't connect with her a ton. And so there were many times where I was just like a little bit annoyed with her, like throughout the book. So she wasn't my favorite character, but I really liked her characterization. It was very familiar to me. It was almost like a caricature, and so it made it kind of fun. If you like that kind of like silly, over the top, kind of ridiculous type of a story, then I think that you would really enjoy this book. But it's not exactly the thing that I'm looking for when I'm trying to read a mystery. This book was so fun and such a quick read for me. I feel like I blew through it super, super fast. It was just like really fun to be reading about these characters, learning a little bit more about them. Though I felt like there was a lack of depth in these characters, actually. At the beginning of the story, you knew that everyone had a little bit of secrets and that more things would come out. And then you learned a little bit more about these characters, but you only really learned what those secrets were. You didn't really learn more depth of those characters. So they felt really flat because you didn't really get anything else from this book about those characters. And so seeing them interact, while it was super, super wholesome, and there were definitely moments that touched my heart, seeing these characters like grow in their self-esteem, they all felt very similar in their lack of confidence at the beginning of the book and how they gained more confidence towards the end of the book, and the way they interacted. It just felt very one note and not a lot of depth. So I know that's not the point of a book like this, is not to have depth in the characters, but that was something that was lacking for me that could have made this book more of a favorite. But like I said, there were some beautiful, beautiful moments between characters that just really warmed my heart. Seeing an artist get back to her art, seeing a mother get back to her passionate roots and like grow her own small business, seeing these characters help one another out, it was really wholesome. And so that was something I was not expecting, that I really appreciated from this book. There was a lot more significant and meaningful moments like that sprinkled throughout that made me like this book a lot more, that just really tugged at my heartstrings. And then one other thing that made this not like a favorite of mine is the mystery itself was like not really existent. The question was, who murdered this guy? And there were like basically 0 clues throughout the whole book. I was really hoping for like a more of like a whodunit, doing detective work to find all these clues, but really Vera was just trying to figure out what are all these secrets that these people have related to Marshall. And again, there weren't very many clues. She just kind of like wheedled it out of them. So I didn't really like that. I wanted more plot in the mystery, and I kind of saw the mystery coming from a long way away. I still had a little bit of a twist, but I think that you could definitely predict it, especially as you're learning about these characters. And even though you're learning more facts, you're not gaining greater insight to the character. The characters seem just as innocent as they seemed at the beginning of the book. So you're like, well, it's gotta be something that I was suspicious of. I don't know. The mystery was lacking. I wanted more clues. I wanted more red herrings. I wanted it to be less predictable, but like the cast of characters is so small, and as you're learning more about these characters, like the gaps in your knowledge become more and more obvious, and so you're like focusing in on those knowledge gaps and being like, is that where it's at? Lacking in the mystery sense. So I really wanted to read like an actual mystery story. I'm in the mood to read a mystery, and this just didn't quite scratch that itch for me. It was more about found family, though like all the characters kind of blended together, though I did really like Julia. I think she was my favorite character out of everybody. I also kind of like Oliver too. But yeah, everyone just kind of blended together personality-wise, and so it wasn't the kind of found family where like you've got a bunch of misfits that like are really stark from one another and they kind of figure out a way to meld their lives together. Like they just all kind of blob together. This was a really fun book. It's one that I enjoyed reading way more than the last Woolberry Book Box book, but it was far from being a favorite. There were definitely some issues that like if I was an author that I would have wanted something different to be the kind of story that I wanted this to be, if that makes sense. So I think that if you like Finlay Donovan, if you like kooky, ridiculous, cozy mysteries, then I think you would really like this, especially if you like the found family aspect or things with like wholesomeness like sprinkled on there. I think that you would really like this book. And some people love this book. I see myself reading another Vera Wong book if another one ever comes out, but I don't see myself buying a copy. I just see myself getting the audiobook from the library and reading it that way and not being in a super big hurry to read the next book either. This was a book that was kind of on my TBR for a while that I had known about and I was aware of, but wasn't super compelled to read. So I'm really glad that this book came in the box so I could finally read it and enjoy it. It was a really fun time and I enjoyed myself. Let's take a look at the yarn then. This is the yarn that came in the box. Seeing it all together. Ah, ta-da! Okay, colors. Flutter Wings is the first one. Great Tea always has that effect. Vera's Notebook. And this last one is Vera Wong's World Famous Tea House. I was really hoping it would say World Famous Tea Horse. Because that was a line in the book. Someone misspelled the sign. But I, in general, saw this, I gasped. It was beautiful. This is exactly my color palette. I adore this color. This color and this color are like not necessarily my favorites. And also, if you put them next to each other, they have almost identical dye styles, which is kind of interesting that Bethany chose to do that. And then this beautiful deep red is a really pretty color. I don't feel like these colors go together in the same color palette the same way the winter box did. Let me pull out that. And maybe I'll feel different when I start working at my squares in these colors, but this is what the colors looked like together from the first book box. And I feel like these colors work together so well. Definitely giving off more of a wintry vibe. And I feel like this palette is so good. These ones are a little bit different, so it'll be kind of interesting to see. I think I really like this red color, but it's also a really different tone than the others. Yeah, so it's like a really quite the pop of saturated color. So let's wind these up and let's get started on some squares and we can see how these colors play together. Don't mind the mess. We are doing some spring cleaning. I'm organizing this closet where I have art supplies and stuff, and so it's a huge mess in here.
Waking up, it's gone. It leaves us feeling cold again. Picking up the stones our hands were made to feel.
Okay, I have no idea what happened, but my ball of yarn flew off the winder and I'd already had some slipping issues, so that is the first version that I was trying to redo, and so I had that version going from that ball, and then this flew off of the winder, so now I've got this ball going. What is going on? It's a Monday. Finally, I've got the most beautiful cake of yarn. No slipping. It did not fly off the ball winder. I'll check back in with you when I get the rest of these done, because who knows how long that'll take. I finally have my yarn all caked up. I'm sweating. I am tired. I'm going to take a break. I'll come back to this and I'll show you what kind of squares I'm doing. I'm doing a modified version of the Astrid blanket from Mallory Crawl, and I already started with my winter squares and I actually haven't made much progress on those. So maybe I should work on those too in a little bit, but I'll start making a variety of squares using these 4 colors and different combinations to make some squares for this blanket that I'll do from all the Book Society box yarns.
And moments like these, they show us what we've got when we ain't got a thing. We've got us. 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 Yes! Forever. what we've got when we ain't got a thing. And still we've got us. 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 Deceitful intention, so painful the scar. Enlightened the darkness, so foolish we are. Still we've got us. Still we've got us.
Okay, I have to complain because a couple days ago it was in the 60s and now it is snowing again. Thought spring was here. So sad. Though the snowflakes are like the beautiful fluffy kind. So, a little bit of consolation.
Still we've got us. Still we've got us. Still we've got us.
Alright, so we are done with the 4 samples of this blanket square. Sorry, trying to pick them up. Ta-da! And honestly, I really love how they look together. This dark red definitely stands out as being different than the others in tone, but I think it's a fun pop of color. So pretty. This definitely gives me like antique-y vibes, which is really fun. I did not weave in my ends yet. I tried to crochet over my ends if I could, but I definitely have some cleaning up to do, and I have a lot more to make because I just made these 4. So if you haven't seen my previous video where I talk about the Astrid blanket by Mallory Kroll and my modifications that I'm doing in order to make it, I am going to use all 4 yarns from each box in a self-contained square. So all 4 colors in one square, and just rotate through the colors so they're in the same order for some like organization, but they are in like different configurations. So I have 4 different configurations for the spring box, and I'm going to rotate through all these different configurations so I have an even number of all 4. And then when I do this for every single box for every single season, then I'm going to join them all together, probably with like a white or a cream yarn or something that can kind of go in between, maybe like a black, but I would be worried about color bleeding for that. So maybe a white, I'm not sure. I haven't gotten that far yet, but have another color as a main color to kind of join all these squares together in a pseudo random way, just kind of mixing all 16 configurations from the 4 different seasons boxes and all the squares I have to just kind of make a big blanket that'll be my Woolberry Fiber Co. Book Society box year-long blanket. So that's kind of what I'm doing. In order to make this happen, let's see what's one that I can kind of show you. I'll show on this one. In order to make this happen, Mallory Kroll's pattern for the Astrid blanket only does this cluster round, this round of puffs, and then goes straight to this like granny square style, making it into an actual square rather than a circle. And then it gets joined with another round. But I wanted to use all 4 colors in one square and then use a 5th color throughout the blanket to join everything together. So I adapted the pattern and I did another round of puff stitches, but instead of doing 2 puff stitches, I did 3 puff stitches in the space of 2 in the round previous. And it fits really well. I think this will block out nicely. It's pretty flat already, which is great. And I didn't even have to change the math for the previous 3rd round in the pattern, and that is now the 4th round in my pattern. I did not have to make any adjustments, which is really nice. So I'll make sure to include instructions down below so you can kind of see how I made this puff configuration just for this additional round if you're interested in making adjustments like I did. And then once all these squares are done, I'll join them together and we'll see how that goes. I really want to have just an even number of each color, and so if I have extra left over little bits of this yarn, then I'll put it in my scrap bin and I can use them for like socks or like toes or color work or something like that. I have a ways to go though. For the winter box, I still have only my 4 that I still have only my 4 squares that I originally did, and I have not made any more. And because this is crochet, because it is held double, because this is fingering weight yarn and the pattern calls for like a worsted. So I should give you all the info. I used a USI or 5.5 millimeter hook. This is my Clover and More hooks. I love them so much. And I held this yarn double to make more of like a DK weight base compared to the worsted weight base that the pattern calls for. So I only have these 4. I have more to do, but with holding the yarn double, making all these puff stitches, I think this is going to eat up yarn really fast. I just haven't gotten around to it. It hasn't been a priority. I've always been like, oh, I have a few months for the next box, but I'm going to work on this. Maybe I'll do another vlog where all I do is see how much I can get done in maybe like a certain time frame, like how much can I do in an hour, or how much can I do in like 6 hours or something like that? How much can I do in a day? I don't know. Let me know down below if you want to see a vlog like that, just to try to get some of these done. Should probably work on ends before I finish the actual crocheting, or else I'm going to lose my mind trying to weave in all the ends all at the end. Yeah, so here's like my color palette for winter and my color palette for spring. I'm really excited to see the other colors for the summer and the fall box, which I have a subscription for, so they should be coming when they are ready if they don't get lost in the mail like this past box did. I'm excited to see where this goes, and hopefully I can get this blanket worked on some more. Yes, I think I should do another vlog of just working on these blanket squares and maybe doing a little time contest or something. Let me know what you want to see from me, and let me know if you've read this book before and if you really like it, what your thoughts are on it. I'd love to hear. The last book I read for this Woolberry book box, I didn't really like. I had some strong feelings for. And while this book wasn't my absolute favorite, it was still an enjoyable book. I had a lot of fun. It was a quick read. So I want to hear what your thoughts are about this. And until next time, happy making and happy reading. Bye!